Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm your host, Rich Weber, with the Florida Aviation Network, and we're broadcasting live to you in the clear from the Howard Hughes exhibit in the Florida Air Museum at Sun and Fun 2013, the 39th annual Fly-In and Expo here in Lakeland Linder Regional Airport in Lakeland, Florida. We're talking with so the guys from Stallion 51, getting some great information, and I would like to tell you our next guest is going to be quite interesting. I think you're going to enjoy this. It's Janet Ivey. Hello,
Hi.
Janet.
Hi, nice to see you.
Janet's with Janet's Planet, and I would like for you to tell us about that because I think our viewers are wondering, what is Janet's Planet?
Janet's Planet is an informal educational outreach program that I do. We're on about 100 different public television stations, and we currently have produced 2 DVDs, and they air on KTV, which is Kids and Teen Television, and it's just about space and science and really encouraging kids to kind of stand in their scientific and scientific magnificence, and it's a lot of fun. I've been at schools all this week here in Lakeland.
Excellent. So you've been well received, I am sure. And sparks a lot of interest.
It was really great on Tuesday. I was able to give a family a telescope, and they promised me they were headed home that evening to go cook out and take a look at the stars. Yeah, so that's what I hope, that it's like we plant a seed and hopefully that spark that they'll go, wow, aviation or research or exploration is not with beyond beyond my means or something.
Excellent. So how did you come up with this? Where did this all start?
I was hired back in the 90s for Opryland Theme Park, and I did a kids show called Opryland Kids Club. And when the park was closing, I thought, but no, I found my mission and purpose, because I love to perform with and for kids. And when I started to look around, there was Bill Nye the Science Guy, there was Beekman's World, but there wasn't a woman in science or talking about science. And I thought maybe that's the missing piece. And so everybody always called me Interplanet Janet, if you guys remember that from Schoolhouse Rock. And I thought, well, that's taken, but maybe Janet's Planet would
It's
be
pretty
good.
catchy and it works. I like it.
Yeah. So I have to say and give a shout out to my 5th grade teacher, Miss Ernestine Yarborough, who I have to credit with probably the most inspiration about science and space. She taught us about the constellations. She taught us about the planets. She assigned me Saturn. I think that's why my logo looks a little bit like that planet.
Yes.
And I go back to that moment in 5th grade when I was 10 years old, and she had this way about her. She would come by your desk and she would whisper in your ear every Friday, and she would go, now this message is just for you. Don't tell anybody what I say. And she would whisper things. You're going to be good at science. You're going to be a great writer, and those sorts of things. So those seeds were really planted in me at age 10.
Some of those things we don't think about at the time, of course. When you're 10 years old, you think, oh, okay, thanks. And
yeah, right.
It's Friday, it's time to go home, but you think back on it, and it does make an influence and makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference. What is that saying, that it's like people won't necessarily remember what you give them or anything like that, but they will remember how you make them feel.
Right.
And so I remember her making me feel very important and like I really could do anything.
So then when you went to, you were doing something for with the Grand Ole, not the Grand Opry,
the Opryland Theme Park.
Thank you. So where did you come? Were you a school teacher? What did you do?
No, my degree's in music and theater. I'm an actress.
Interesting.
So I spend 50% of my time acting. If any of you guys out there are watching Nashville this coming Wednesday night, the show on ABC, I have a small role, one scene. I'm in a blue jacket. If I don't wind up on the cutting room floor, I'm playing a subway executive negotiating the rights to rename the stadium. So I really come at science from a very arts and creative background, but I don't think that they're necessarily that far apart, or I think they are part of a whole, because it takes that same creative thinking that you need to perform or write a song is the same creative thinking that goes into creating that hypothesis and conducting that experiment. What would work in this? What's the spark of ingenuity here? And for me, they're not two separate things. They're part of the same whole. Right. And so the nerd in me loves sharing the science, and the performer in me loves getting in front of kids and going, hey, isn't this amazing?
But it sparks their interest, and it kind of gets them thinking rather than just being bored and thinking that some of these subject matters in school are boring and they want to go to sleep, or when am I ever going to use this again? This is not for me. So you're kind of going a different approach that's going to get them thinking and maybe think that, yeah, this might be useful and make them want to study that more.
Well, that's what our hope is. And there's been a movement, so much talk has been done about STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. And I'm a real proponent of going from STEM to STEAM, because you can't do much with a stick. But steam can power a locomotive. So if you add the A in there and make that art and design part of that science, technology, engineering, math equation, then all of a sudden I think you've got a real cohesive whole. And so that's just my out-of-the-box thinking. And recently there was a Time article saying they were bringing in creatives to work with researchers and doctors trying to come at solutions in a different way. So maybe I'm onto something.
I think you may be onto something. There was something else that, adding art in there, but also maybe even adding music in there.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you why I think this. Because that kind of brings it, puts a little life into it, Music puts a life into everybody and kind of gets you going. And so that can, once again, not be so dull and boring and stagnant. It's going to pep it up a little bit, if you will.
Well, when you think about it, Commander Chris Hadfield, the commander of the International Space Station right now, he's a musician and a great cartoonist. He has great cartoons online. Or Will.i.am of the Black Eyed Peas, he's got the first song ever, broadcast from Mars that was on the rover. So I think there are different entry points. If we use the music, we use the drama, the wonderful kind of creative elements into explaining and exploring science.
Absolutely. So that's going to it's going to take it up a little bit and make them more involved and want to be involved. So now is this applying to, where do you start with what age group of?
My favorite age is kindergarten through 5th grade, and we have a blast. And the show is really designed that the kindergartners will learn something, the 5th graders will learn something. And I'm proud to say that yesterday I had so many hands raised. It's like everybody wanted to participate. And the principal said, "How did you do that?" I walked out for a minute, and then I come back, everybody's got their hand raised. And I have been accused of being overly energetic from time to time. And so I just try to overwhelm them with passion. And kids are really honest. From about 5 to 10 years old, they know if you're a phony. They know when you're being
You're
honest
right.
and straight
Kids are
with them.
smarter than we think, aren't they?
On one of these days this week, I had a 2nd grader go, "Have you heard about the Kepler mission?" And I'm like,
Excuse me?
"Would you like to come up now and teach the class?" Right? So then another kid goes, "What's dark energy?" And I'm like, "We'd all like to know," right? And what's
Wow.
dark matter? And I just think, I like to teach to inspire, not just teach to test. So I have the luxury of doing that. I was never a formal educator in a classroom, so I come at it just loving the subject matter and going, "Hey, let's share this." And so
But
I
that's
think
good.
I have an advantage in some ways. I can come and breeze in, and then the teachers really have the heavy lifting to do.
Well, of course, but without that, though, it's not going to even happen.
Right.
So, and you're probably grandfathered in anyway, just because of it's a necessary thing,
Right.
and all. So you say K through 5 is kind of where it really kind of starts to target the real young, to get them started thinking earlier than waiting till they're in middle school and high school and their teenage years.
And there's some method behind my thought process there. Vanderbilt University did a study that says 10 is the new 15. And I know it's kind of scary information, but if 10 is the new 15, if we don't get them before they are in middle school, what will be that spark? If we haven't fostered enough of love of science and learning and that interest in scientific inquiry, then why will there be that special teacher that will ignite that interest? So my thought is, let me get them while they're young. That'll be my dropper full in that particular demographic. And then everyone else that does middle school and high school and collegiate stuff will do their part. And perhaps we'll fill the gap with our pilot shortage or fill the gap with our engineering shortage here in the U.S. So that's my real hope, that if I at least spark their interest and love of it, then they have some choices as they move forward.
That's good. And this is not just local. This is
We're trying to do it on the national stage and international stage. I'm involved in several projects, and so if for everyone out there listening, you can check us out at janetsplanet.com or follow us on Facebook at Janet's Planet. You'll get a great science fact a day, an experiment a day. I've got great curriculum. If you homeschool, you can email us at janet@janetsplanet.com, and we'll make sure and get you some materials that you can use even at home.
Well, that's good because, I've been hearing and seeing and talking with people that STEM just keep popping up. This is like a new buzzword, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's pretty interesting to see that this is really, just all the big collaboration of all these different educators, and not only educators that are getting these kids involved, but also organizations and businesses and sponsors that are wanting to put this all together, and just like you've heard about the flight in the Cirrus that's coming up with Judy Rice.
I'm on her education team. So if you guys are out there listening, check out thinkglobalflight.org. This is a plug for my friend Judy.
Yes.
She's taking a flight. She's going to head west. She's going to fly solo to Hawaii. Then her navigator Fred's going to pick up. And we really want to set up student command centers all over the world. So I feel very, very lucky to be part of her initiative. And what we've all decided is that it's kind of like the Three Musketeers, all for one, one for all. We're going to make sure we do our best for the kids of this world.
That's good because it's going worldwide with that, and so that's even spreading the word of Janet's Planet even further.
Yeah,
it really is, and that way you can also keep up to date with it. And I don't recall, but I think I may have even seen your name on the side of the airplane out there.
It is the International Lead Educator. And again, it's fun. We were beginning to set up Google Hangouts and then ways that they can Skype and communicate with Judy and Fred on board the plane. So I'm excited. Well, Judy will launch that from Sun and Fun next year and take about 3 months to do.
That's going to be incredible, but it's going to be you're a good part of that. And I was talking with her about the overwater portion of it, the extra fuel on board, right, which is necessary. I said, well, Judy, what do you think is going to happen? What's your plan if the engine quits? Oh, well, we've got that covered. I said, okay, I just want to make sure there's going to be the Navy or the Coast Guard or somebody around that can pluck you out of the water. And but where I'm going with that is she talked about the kids' involvement with this and planning and this is part of what you're doing too. I'm just sure of it with getting these kids involved and getting them where they start thinking a little bit more. Thinking bigger than just getting their homework done. They're thinking about what are some ulterior some alternate plans if something like on her
Yeah,
flight.
that's actually one of the things because we'll have kids kind of monitoring fuel and how much does she need, how much does she have left, and making sure there's not CO2 poisoning happening and things like that. I mean, what really our goal with Janet's Planet and Think Global Flight is just we want to get them excited. Last night, for example, when I knew that I was coming here, I had at Dyer Observatory at Vanderbilt, we wanted to celebrate Yuri's night. Well, I thought I can't be in two places at once. How do I do this? So I've got an 11-year-old who is adopted from Russia, who takes my acting class, but he just did his book report on Yuri Gagarin. And I said, so I went to him and I went to his mom and I said, Sergey, do you think that you could be my Janet's Planet ambassador and you could present and hand out these things and be sort of my liaison at this event because I can't be there? And he was like, his eyes got wide. And so I get an email back last night. He presents it several times throughout the evening. He handed out prizes. And his mom texts me and says, best night ever, that Sergey went from being a little nervous about presenting to being a one-man space show. And he's 11. And so that's what we want to do. We want to put in their hands the opportunity that, look at what you can do. You can do amazing things. And I think if we encourage that, our future really is pretty bright.
But that's giving him some responsibility.
Yes.
It is. It's teaching them responsibility. It's also making him, like, once again, we said it before, thinking, but he's also doing a little research.
Yeah.
And even at that age, that's going to be pretty cool. So, viewers, I want to tell you right now, we've got a little bit extra video we're going to show. We're going to keep talking, but I want you to notice what the kind of video we have. We have a special little input here. So take a look at this, and we just want to give you an idea that you can do that right there. just keep on going. So.
And this is me aboard the Zero-G flight. I got to produce a DVD for Space Florida and got to fly twice. And it's really magnificent. Your earthbound brain isn't quite ready for it, because you'll see as the plane kind of falls over the edge of that parabola, the plane is falling, everything inside it's falling, so we're experiencing weightlessness. Here we're experiencing about a third, that's basically Martian gravity. So we're doing push-ups. We could have done them all day. The next parabola.
During the flight.
Yeah, during the flight. And then right here we're experiencing lunar gravity, and these are fingertip push-ups. And so we're getting a chance to sort of experience in about 20 to 25 second intervals what Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin felt the first time they walked on the moon.
Excellent. When did you go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. When we did this back in 2009, on the plane, you can hear all the adults just giggling like school children. It's magnificent. And I'm very proud. With this video, we were able to win a regional Emmy Award, a Gracie Allen Award, and a STEM Florida Award. And Space Florida has a mandate from the Stephen Hawking Foundation to take microgravity to the Florida schools. So
Really?
I've given out tons of DVDs this week. If you want to, again, if you want to have access to this DVD, email us at janet@janetsplanet.com. We'll send you the link. We'll send you the curriculum. But you'll see we kind of experiment with Galileo's theory that everything falls at the same rate of speed when you're kind of in that kind of vacuum sort of thing. We lucked out here. The piece of candy bumped off the head of the head of the camera. And then water, when it's released in microgravity, forms these spherical globules. And so it's just, as you're seeing, that's what it's. Now, when we're back into 1G, it falls straight down on you. And here they're throwing me about like a human ball.
That's incredible.
It was an amazing, amazing experience. And I'm about to fly like Superman at the end. And I will say, I know it sounds trite to say it's an out-of-this-world experience. Your earthbound brain really isn't quite prepared for it.
How did you guys, how would the opportunity come up with that?
What happened is Dr. Looney, who's the VP of Space Education at Space Florida, saw a DVD that I'd done on the solar system, called me and said, we have this mandate. We know that the money to take our teachers on board the Zero-G plane may be going away. So we have a proposition. Would you like to produce a DVD about gravity and microgravity? And would you like to perform, experience and fly in the plane? And I'm like, I'm trying to be calm when the phone call comes in. It's like, hold on. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
and
no-brainer.
And it was astounding. And so we've given away at the Sun and Fun events. We've had some other places in Oshkosh where we've given the DVD away. And it's really just that outreach of going, guys, I'm from rural West Tennessee. If I can have this experience in my lifetime, perhaps this will be your experience. And so great fun.
So it's actually something that others can do?
You can do it. Now, it does have a price tag on it.
I'm sure it does.
So if you fly for Zero-G currently, it's about $5,000 a pop.
Okay.
So I was lucky enough to be able to fly twice because Space Florida had arranged it. And then there's another place somewhere here in Florida that's about $2,500 a pop. You just can do and Google around and find microgravity flights.
Excellent. But that's going to give them, once again, it's going to give our youth and our upcoming aviators a little bit more, something else that they're going to learn and insight and desire for getting in the aviation field,
Because if you want to go into space, it's a good thing to be a pilot and know all the physics and math involved with travel.
Right.
And so to really, I heard today, it's like every plane starts on the ground. So learning these things gets that plane, you become an aviator. I mean, there's even a Navy SEAL currently that's now an astronaut. So how cool is that? You go from, I know it gives me goosebumps, right? A Navy SEAL to an astronaut. That's hardly anything tougher in this world than that. So.
And now he's going to become an astronaut. So yeah, that gives you some, us meaning you, all of us, some inspiration and for the youth, inspiration to do what they want to do and to reach, set high goals.
Well, one of the things we say at Janet's Planet is whatever we think, dream, or imagine today just might be great science tomorrow. So we want to get kids interested and curious about what's up and out there and to really dream big because the universe is always expanding and we hope that those kids let their minds do the same thing.
Yeah, they need to. And we need that, as our world needs that, and like you said, universe. But you never know where that may lead to.
I know.
think about it. Just in our lifetime, what we've seen, the changes evolve, that, life on other planets is very possible. So this is getting these kids thinking about it, and I think the biggest thing is getting them inspired to continue and to continue your education, because even on a smaller scale, it helps them get through school. It helps them, want to do better in school. It gives them a reason, not so bored, like I said, and
absolutely,
and some food for thought.
Well, anytime I think that you can get a kid interested and engaged, then there's the chance for that student to go on and do more and go further. And so I think that is our challenge as informal educators and educators. It's like, create that challenge. There's been some research shown that kids don't sit on the couch playing video games because they're lazy. They sit on the couch playing video games because there is a challenge involved in that. And so how can we in education create challenges that they can, aspire to and aspire to achieve and continue? That's that forward motion, that it's like with the challenge they get more inspired. Wow, I'm capable of that. What's the next level of challenge?
Right. And they may not even thought of that before. Never even given it a second thought.
Right.
Or that they were even capable of that and had the ability.
Yeah.
So that's also kind of doing some, confidence building and reinforcement.
Again, it really goes back to being a cheerleader for the child. And that's my main thing. It's like I go around all the time, and it doesn't matter if a kid is 5, 55, or 85. When you tell somebody, that is really amazing, that's really important stuff you're doing there, thank you so much. The appreciation, the acknowledgement sometimes of relevance. And so just to shout out to all of you in the armed forces that may be watching, thank you for all the heavy lifting you guys do and keeping us safe here. So my heart goes out to you, and we are very appreciative of
Absolutely.
all of you out
We've
there.
been trying to do that. We've been trying to say, give a big thank you to the men and women in the military, because that's where our freedom comes from.
And a lot of smarts, and they're out there flying and doing amazing things. And I'm sure, they've done their math at homework as well.
Absolutely, even when they started young. But the thing about I'm thinking about with you with K through 5, sometimes that cannot be an easy age group to keep their attention. So, and I know that's probably a challenge sometimes.
It's like,
what do you do for that?
Wiggly kids do not bother me. We do this little game as we go through the show. I have them think travel. So I have people put their fingers right here at their temples, and they shake their heads, because I remind them that your awake brain actually can power a light bulb. So we're going to think travel. We're going to go through our solar system, but I'm going to need you to, with the power of your thoughts, fuel our ship's alpha drives as we go. And so it gives the wiggle worms enough time to wiggle around, and now we're going to listen again. And it seems to work. Plus, like I said, I'm a powerhouse of energy. I'll overwhelm them. I can outlast you, little ones.
They can't. They're right. We're talking the Energizer here, right? Well, that's a good thing though, because it's easy to lose them when they're off in different directions and everything. But by keeping them focused, it's giving them that, I think, that necessary education. Even they may not realize it, but it's kind of getting them that spark and getting them going.
There are several stories from this week where it was like kindergartners were in the front and then the 5th graders were in the back. And this little kid, Eli, introduced himself to me early on. Hi. He was like, hi, my name is Eli. I was like, how you doing, Eli? Right. And so I call on him initially early in the show. And then later I keep asking questions about what do they know, because I like to include them, reward them for their participation. Good. And so we get out near Pluto and the Kuiper Belt, and there was a 5th grader who actually answered the correct question for Kuiper Belt objects, and I hear Eli, I was going to say that. And so the fact that he's listening and is engaged, and the same thing for a couple of days ago, that I had these kindergartners just want to go, was that really you on that video? Are you really real? Have you walked on the moon? And I had to remind them, only 12 men have walked on the moon, no ladies. So ladies, it's time to get out there and, let's go somewhere.
Get your spacesuit on.
That's right. So it's the thrill for me. I talked with someone else this morning from NASA, and it is the thrill for us to get out and feel like that we have somehow ignited a spark. And if it's for one, if it's for a bunch, we hope that we make impact, and we'll do our dropper full as we go.
It will, and make a big difference. What's the plans for to continue to spread the word?
Our plan right now, we're performing in performing arts centers. We do a live touring show one's about the solar system, one's about microgravity. Our further plan, our big blue sky plan, is we're currently in the funding stages to do more half-hour shows. That's really where I would love to be able to do more of. And then
On the kids' TV.
On a kids' TV network. And so my good friend Philip Hurst is working hard. He's kind of included me in some plans that he's got going. But yeah, it's and public television has been great. We're currently on 100 different public television stations around the country just with our short interstitials. And
that's excellent.
I'm in it for the long haul. It may be Granny's Planet before I'm done with it, but
Right.
For me, it's my mission and purpose to encourage kids to stand in their magnificence.
That's good. And, being on public television in 100 channels or more that's remarkable, You
We
think
had
about
fun
that.
when we were in Racine, Wisconsin this past December for the S.C. Johnson Company. We're performing in the Golden Rondell Theater, which was part of the, I think it was the New York, oh goodness, it was Frank Lloyd Wright's
Okay.
imagination there. And so it looks like a spaceship if you look at it. So kids are walking in. We've got everything kind of decked out in aluminum foil and everything. And the kids are coming in. I've seen you. I know you. I see you on TV. And it was because of their local Wisconsin public television
about
station.
that?
So the word is getting out. We're
That's
getting more
rewarding.
recognition. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
very rewarding when you see that because well, hey, that's good because it's spreading the word. Now, I guess the next thing, or you're probably already doing this, is to try to continue to where you can only do so much as one person to keep getting other people on board, maybe even some sponsorship.
Oh, that would be nice if anyone out there was listening.
That's what we're talking about. Getting some sponsorship. Go to janetsplanet.com.
Yeah.
And is there anything on there about sponsorship?
There isn't anything currently about sponsorship,
But there probably will be pretty soon now.
I think I'll work on it tonight. But
Well, really, because that's what there's so many of these organizations, companies, businesses, all these educators like yourself and others, but they're getting the sponsorship, and there's these companies that are wanting to do that. Just like we're talking to some of the others with. Lori Bradner and was JetBlue, for example.
No, isn't that amazing?
Right, there's an example. So it shows that us as adults, we want to support the youth. We want to help the youth, and this may be just some things that some of these companies are deciding that, we need to do this. It's the right thing to do.
Well, it boils down to workforce. When you think about where will we be in 5, 10, 15 years, if we don't inspire these little ones, where will their workforce be? So as we have been out and kind of talking and just spreading the word about what it is we want to do and do more of, I think that's been the biggest hook that begins to get people really listening. It's like, no, it's like this doesn't just affect now. It affects your workforce 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. And that should get people excited, I think. So
I think it will.
But I think I will put a button, or you can email me at janet@janetsplanet.com.
Absolutely, because it's a necessary evil. It is, and it's everybody, wants to participate, and everybody wants to help, and it gives them a way that they can do that, and that's what's important.
Well, I want to give a shout out, as you mentioned, this Hunt Brothers Pizza. I don't know if you've ever had it. If you walk into a convenience store, Hunt Brothers Pizza is around here in the Southeast, so they're a great sponsor, as well as Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. So
excellent.
They're right behind me.
Well, that's good because you need as many sponsors as possible, and just keep the momentum going and let it continue to grow because you're in the same thought process as all the everyone else, that not just in aviation, but this is besides aviation, it's our youth, for like you said, all workforce, not just aviation.
Yeah.
Even though we're aviation related here, and this is what we're doing at Sun and Fun, but the big picture is the workforce of the youth. And
because whether they become a pilot or a mechanic or even a researcher, it's all parts of the whole.
It is parts of the whole, so that makes it a good deal, and that's what we need to do. So keep up the good work, and
thank you.
We wish you the best of luck. And I think that's a great thing that you're doing, because it's not everybody's knack. It takes special people to do that, and all of us as educators, that's good, and that's what we got to keep going on. So,
right.
Listen, everybody, we've been talking with Janet Ivey. Janet, thanks for meeting us.
Thank you
taking
very
your
much.
time. janetsplanet.com. I'm Rich Weber, your host for the Florida Aviation Network. Stay tuned. We've got another exciting guest coming up with you in just a few minutes.